Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're looking at Bosch fuel injection and engine management, back from Bentley Publishers Theory of Operation Troubleshooting and Service Using Common Tools and Equipment, High Performance Tuning, How to Identify Your Bosch System. So this is an American book, but similar to the LE2 Jetronic. It's for these ones specifically, but it's similar. So it's for LH Motronic, LH Jetronic, L Jetronic, D Jetronic, KE Motronic, KE Jetronic, K Jetronic. I wanted to start off from chapter 2 because this is the most interesting bit, which is engine management fundamentals. So here, basic factors: air fuel ratios, the basic combustible mixture, rich and lean mixtures, stoichiometric ratio, the excess air factor lambda, drivability and emission control, fuel economy CAF, airflow, fuel delivery and engine load, fuel pressure, pressure management, gauge pressure versus absolute pressure versus vacuum pressure. There's more sections, but I'm just going to start off with section 2.1 in these videos. And the introduction, the introduction and the introduction. So some nice diagrams with it. Right, so starting with the introduction. So he says, what sets fuel injection and engine management systems apart from other fuel delivery systems is their ability to precisely control fuel metering and adjust it in response to changing operating conditions. The key elements in the success of Bosch fuel injection and engine management systems are a comprehensive understanding of the engine's varying fuel delivery requirements over a broad range of operating conditions. B. Extensive research into how the factors which influence the engine's fuel needs can be measured and interpreted by control systems. And C. Highly developed methods for controlling fuel metering to optimize overall performance. So that's quite good, isn't it? I just read them out again because it's really interesting. So, the key elements in the success of Bosch fuel injection and engine management systems are: number A. So there's 3 points. A. A comprehensive understanding of the engine's varying fuel delivery requirements over a broad range of operating conditions. B. Extensive research into how the factors which influence the engine's fuel needs can be measured and interpreted by control systems. C. Highly developed methods for controlling fuel metering to optimize overall performance. So read it one more time. A comprehensive understanding of the engine's varying fuel delivery requirements over a broad range of operating conditions. So I guess that could be just cruising, acceleration, uphill, downhill, deceleration, cornering, maybe, I don't know. Extensive research into how the factors which influence the engine's fuel needs can be measured and interpreted by control systems. Extensive research into how the factors which influence the engine's fuel needs can be measured and interpreted by control systems. Oh, right, yeah. And highly developed, so that will be like sensors, like sensors, load, variations in the throttle positions by the driver, stuff like that. Control system might be lambda sensor, and measuring the position of the control systems, would be like lambda sensor, I think. Highly developed methods controlling fuel metering to optimize overall performance. So that's the fuel injection, isn't it? At the time of the fuel injection opening and the pressure. So in this chapter, the author, in this chapter, I'll review the basic factors governing air fuel mixture and fuel delivery. I'll describe why various engine operating conditions demand different air fuel mixtures, and I'll explain how the air fuel ratio can be manipulated to improve drivability and control exhaust emissions with little sacrifice of power. In Chapter 3 and 5, you'll see how Bosch applies these principles to the design and operations of their fuel injection systems. Wow. So this is really interesting, isn't it? So Section 2, Basic Factors. First, the basics. We'll take a closer look at air-fuel ratios and the engine's basic demands for a combustible mixture. I'll describe additional factors affecting fuel delivery, which are imposed by the demands by the car buying public, and we'll examine pressure and pressure measurement, a subject that is fundamental to understanding how Bosch fuel injection systems work. So 2.1, air-fuel ratios. An engine's throttle controls the amount of air the engine takes in. The main function of any fuel delivery system is to mix fuel with the incoming air in the proper ratio. Small variations in air-fuel ratio can have dramatic effects on power output, fuel consumption, and exhaust emissions. Alright. The basic combustible mixture. Laws of physics tell us that the combustion of any substance requires a sufficient ratio of surface area to mass, small enough particles, and the correct amount of oxygen in proportion to the amount of fuel. In internal combustion engines, these conditions are met by atomizing the fuel into tiny droplets, that's by the fuel injection, and by metering fuel in correct proportion to the intake air. In round numbers, approximately 14 parts of air are required to support complete combustion of 1 part of fuel. So, in other words, an air-fuel ratio of about 14 to 1. That's the correct proportion of air to fuel. 14 parts of air, 1 part of fuel. Oh, right. So, and then we've got the diagram just showing you. Figure 2.1. By mass, it takes about 14 parts of air to support complete combustion of 1 part of fuel. Before today's concerns over fuel economy and emissions, an air-fuel ratio somewhere close to 14 to 1 was good enough. Oh yeah, so you got fuel. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Oh, right. So this is like, oh yeah, 14 to 1. Approximately 14 to 1. It's 1 part of fuel and it takes that many parts of air. Yeah, that's interesting. It says 14 to 1. 14 to 1 air, and air just means normal outside air. Don't know how much of that air is oxygen, don't know. Because it's the oxygen that it needs, isn't it? It's like, I think it's like the fire triangle, you need fuel, heat, and oxygen to get it to light. So in that air, there's a certain proportion of oxygen that's needed. So the rest of the air is no good, I think. So it's about 14 parts of air, normal outside air, to 1 part of fuel. And yeah, there's another diagram here. Throughout this book, I'll follow generally accepted practice and discuss air-fuel ratios, primarily in terms of mass. This is simplest and best way to help you to understand the basic factors governing fuel in delivery and combustion. Many of the Bosch systems, however, measure airflow by volume. Oh, like the Peugeot's got it's got a flap on the air volume. It's interesting to see that by volume, the proportion of air to fuel is approximately 11.500 to 1. Oh, so that's volume. So this is by mass, 14 to 1 by mass, and they're saying 11.5 to 1 by volume. Oh, this is by volume. By volume, it takes approximately 11.5 parts of air to support complete combustion of 1 part of fuel. Oh, sorry, that's not 11. It's 11,500. So it's 11,000. Sorry, it's 11,500 to 1. That's why I was going to say the diagram's wrong. So by volume, it takes 11,500 parts